Please stand by. You will into conference.
Leonardo Amato da Roma. Buongiorno.
Malissimo. Penso di sì.
Good morning, everybody. This is Graham Wiley of the EMEA marketing team. We have a lot of people online for this first marketing preview call. So I would be grateful if you could mute at your end, unless you have a specific question or an opportunity, or if there are any problems with the slides. So by way of introduction, I would like to let you know this session is being recorded and will be made available on local intranets as soon as possible after this meeting. The presentation will be in English, but we are talking about a campaign that run in France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, and UK, and I will be presenting materials in local language for those markets. The WebEx technology means that you can ask a question in the chat box. That will
Hello.
I will do my best to answer those questions as we progress. If you have questions after the session, the marketing team in France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, and the UK have been working on this program, and the names on the screen, those individuals will be happy to help you with any specific questions after this conference call. So we have 45 minutes, so I'm going to jump right in and walk through sections. So what we're going to cover today in this first of these calls is really enough information about an upcoming marketing campaign that if you're in sales or services or inflation or managing payroll or in the marketing team, you will understand what the campaign is, why we're running it. You'll be able to answer any questions that customers or prospects may have. So we'll start with why we're here, and I'll talk a little bit about the opportunity that this campaign is designed to address, the story behind the campaign, the new approach that we're bringing to addressing customer needs. I'll share with you the creative resources and the materials that you will start to see appearing in market from the end of this week, early part of next week. I'll share with you the plan for how the campaign will develop through 2018.
Great, it's Hannah speaking. There's an awful lot of background noise. I know you asked everyone to go on mute, but there is a lot of...
I have tried within WebEx to mute all lines. Unfortunately, that resulted also in my line being muted. So if I could ask everybody who's joined the call to mute their line, then we'll try and manage that background noise. Thank you, Hannah. So first, why are we here? So this is the first time the marketing team has offered an open invitation for people to come and see what we're working on. And I think it's important because the role of marketing in the organization is changing, and we are running as one joint up in EMEA and European marketing team. It's our job to invest budget we work with to change the business to build an environment that not only delivers the quarter, but also delivers the full year growth targets for the business. And we're making great progress in doing that. We see increasing momentum in our high-level awareness activities. So we have a good share of voice in EMEA around our markets. Digital performance is improving significantly year on year, with dramatically increasing traffic to our website and dramatically increasing engagement for the people who are on the website. And so we are on track to deliver by the end of the year around about $15 million closed won revenue comes directly from marketing creative opportunities. But we face very challenging and changing markets. In every section, whether it's by country or by industry type or by size of customer. That buyer journey is changing. And as a result, we have embraced the challenger sales methodology and changed the way that ADP is selling our products and services, and our product and changing those products and services better meet our customer needs in the future. And so the way we do marketing and what we do also has changed. Again, just a reminder, if you've just joined the call, if you could mute your line, please. We've got a lot of people on the call. If you could to limit as much as possible the background noise. So as we embark on the campaign to not only make sure we're investing our money sensibly, but we need to try and outthink our competition rather than just outspend the competition. Which means we stand out, we have to prove empathy to the audience, and we behave like a challenger. I'm going to pause just for 1 second because I've been asked a question. Interesting. Someone's taking control of the screen, which shouldn't be possible. Give me 1 second. We'll bring back the file. Okay. Looks like the audio line is full. This has obviously been much more well received than we were expecting. Let me make a note. Can I just check? Can everybody see the slide campaign?
Yep.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
No.
Devo dire,
Okay, so if you are unable to access the audio, we will make the recording available. My apologies, we weren't sure exactly how many people would dial in, so there are several hundred licenses for the access. Obviously, we've exceeded that, so we'll make the recording available. Anyway, as I would say, so we need to try and outthink our competition, so we have to stand out, we have to create empathy, and we have to behave like a challenger. What does that actually mean? Well, if we're trying to stand out, it means we have to look different and feel different, not only from our competition, but what people are expecting of ADP. People in the payroll space know us very well. And last year, we've actually seen people at trade shows walk up, look at the staff, say, yep, I know what ADP does. I don't need to talk to them today, and walk away from the trade show stand. So we have to work much harder to grab and engage their attention by standing out in different ways. Plus, in a challenger environment, we have to focus on what the audience needs, the problems that they're trying to solve, the business issues that they're facing, not just the features, functionality, and quality of our product. And we have to do that by helping them reframe and rethink the problems that they're trying to solve in a way that leads back to something that ADP does uniquely well. As we look at our business, there is one opportunity that stood out for this first way of taking a different approach to our marketing. The opportunity is currently our audience sweet spot. We sell to mid-sized companies, and that's the right through to the lower end of majors, right through to the lower end of nationals, so 150 to 3,500 employees. We have a very strong conversion rate. A deep market with lots of opportunity for ADP and some specific needs that we solve uniquely well. This campaign and this activity is only focused on mid-market, growth-oriented businesses in France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, and UK. The issues that they really care about when we look at the research, the problem they are facing when they try to achieve productivity improvement and their growth targets, actually to do with their employee engagement. and they are challenged and wrestling with how to find the right talent and how to engage that talent in their business. And the lack of engagement hits these businesses in many different ways. And traditionally, these are not things that we've associated with the core ADP proposition. They are things that our prospective customers are looking for solutions to and ready to spend money to invest and solve their business problems. Mm-hmm. A story to this group of people. Well, it's often that people are the lifeblood of an organization. But actually, when you look at how organizations treat their employee data, quite often just actually they're viewed as a box spreadsheet or a line in one of 20 or 30 different HR applications that a team is using. So many solutions and systems, it's really easy to lose sight of the employee. Actually, as technology specialization has grown, a separation between the HR function and the payroll function take two core pieces of employee insight and puts them in totally separate systems, creating poor visibility, which makes it difficult to connect a full view of the employee and difficult for the business to see that full person and engage that full person. So from an EP perspective, we think that the HR back office is broken. A mid-market company trying to grow, you've either grown the accountant and the Excel spreadsheet tools you were using, if you're around about 50 people, or the things you bought when you were a company of 150 people no longer work when you're a company of 1,000 people or 2,000 people. So there's a massive opportunity to bring an improvement to these businesses.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. It's time for a different approach. Apologies, it looks like the screen has frozen. There with a second. Apologies, I've lost control of the screen. Bear with me one moment. I will
Hey, Paul, the slide's gone to the next one, so you're on slide 17 now. So if you had an offline version, maybe you could carry on.
Locked there for a moment. All right, now it's moving. My apologies. Yeah. So, we're almost the great reveal. What's a presentation without a bit of drama? So, if we think differently about helping our businesses solve these issues, we actually believe quite strongly that pay is the starting point for thinking differently, because it really matters. It matters to the people, it matters to the business, and it matters to the future of those growth organizations. But it's more than payroll. It's more just a hygiene factor or a compliance issue. It's those size organizations that we're talking to about solving the engagement problem. It's the misunderstood and forgotten lens through which they can look at their people. And if the team of the summer did some very interesting work around the concept of the joy of pay. So all work, partly satisfaction of the job, but also because pay enables us to live full and interesting lives. We spend it on our family. We spend our money on our hobbies, learn new skills. And pay is really about enabling people to live the lives they want to live, whether that's taking lessons or going to savings, learning box. So, it means in an ADP context, we have opportunity to reframe and educate the market to look at the engagement problem, bring pay into that conversation, and to bring pay and HR together for these buyers in a way that helps them solve their growth and engagement challenges. And we have the opportunity to convince them ADP solutions that are real and tangible business benefits, and demonstrate that ADP is the most credible provider of these services that are based on pay and HR. So how do we do that? But we in our communications by putting the employee at the heart of the HR technology decision. We will always be known for compliance. We will always be known for a history of providing innovation around how pay is delivered. But the opportunity for the mid-market and these growth businesses is to really help them think differently about the way they use HR technology and to put the employee at the core of that. The campaign starts to talk slightly differently about what ADP does. And that's why I wanted the opportunity to preview this with the team. Because ADP, you don't just pay your employees, you know people. And this is a phrase that will appear in a lot of our communications. So pay is the starting point, and it shouldn't be considered in isolation. And actually, it's about more than just how you manage your employees and your human capital. It's about truly engaging with and understanding your employees and then creating experiences that empower them to live the lives they want to live. So really knowing your people means you can rethink what's possible. And a new idea that HR and pay should work more closely together. But what he is doing with IHCM2 and with Decidium is creating a unified pay and HR experience. That is different from getting a number of different technologies to work together from different providers. It gives you a much fuller picture of the employee and actually allows you to generate insight using some of the new tools that we're bringing to market that put out of this spreadsheet box, actually look more holistically at the data and information you have about your employees and how you're rewarding them and engaging them. And it creates this self-service, unified experience for employees that would actually allow for a much richer engagement between them and pay, moving away from a simple compliance and paper pay slip to something that they can actually interact with and plan their lives around how they're going to use their pay to live the lives they want to live. When you take out of the spreadsheet, in a literal sense, what we're doing is we're taking people out of a box in Excel, we're taking them out of a box in separate systems, we're taking them out of a box in terms of how the organization looks at them. And we're trying to liberate and empower them to use their pay to live the life that they want to live. This is where we arrive at the title for the program of People Unboxed. And when we put the employee at the middle of the HR technology decision, what that employee feels and thinks and does becomes central to how the technology meets their needs. And what growth organizations are looking for from their people is not just that they come to work, but they bring their experiences and their knowledge that they have from outside of work through higher engagement to create growth for their businesses. So they're looking for employees that bring a fresh perspective. They're looking for employees that bring a competitive edge. They're looking for employees that have their finger on the pulse and can help their company adapt and change to the different environments in which they're operating. Remember, this is about how we help them meet their challenges, not provide them with software and solutions. And so this is the beginning of the campaign, a communication program that is built around the employee at the center of the HR technology decision, who, when engaged and empowered, is able to bring their experience outside of work. And the first part of this campaign is I am a finger on the pulse. It is bringing an individual who, outside of work, is very engaged in dance culture, youth culture, popular environment, and brings that experience into the workplace. And being here is the first creative and visual for the first part of the People Unboxed campaign. It translates slightly differently in each market. You can see the same creative concept executed in French and the same creative concept executed in Italian, and the same creative concept executed in Dutch, same creative concept executed in German. You have one story about how unified HCM helps mid-market companies engage their employees and bring their whole selves to work. And it's a story that leads back to the same product in 4 markets. It leads back to IHCM2 in UK, Netherlands, Germany, Italy, and leads back to Decidium in France. The product is not important because the problem that it solves for the employee and for the organization is the same. I see invitation email that this has been one of our most integrated campaigns because we're running across 5 geographies. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about the media plan, because the reason we're running the call on March the 1st is our advertising now will start to appear in each of the markets. We're using a combination of different tools. We're doing some work with outdoor media, which puts the ADP message where the customer and the prospect will be. We're using digital media, and we print media. And adverts are actually running in the departures terminal at Eurostar. We catch business people moving between UK, so between London and Paris and Amsterdam. And it is an execution based on I am a finger on the pulse. We're using YouTube and FT.com to communicate to some very specifically targeted audiences right across Europe. And then in France and the UK, at the first phase, we're using some national press. So, for instance, it's Le Monde in France and The Times in the UK. At every market, we're using some traditional trade press communication. Where in the local teams have the media lists. I'm not very good on the pronunciation for some of these. So we'll see those, but there are print adverts that will be appearing in Italian HR publications, Dutch HR publications, German HR publications. And then we're using data-driven marketing to target key potential buyers with digital adverts that lead people back to our website and further engagement with the People Unboxed campaign. You may have this reference to video there, both on YouTube, targeting some of the HR channels, and on FT.com, targeting particular audiences. And I shared earlier a picture where it said, "Why are we here?" And there was a me standing in a car park, an underground car park, injury. Why was a thought that occurred to me in the freezing cold weather. But part of this ad has been produced and shot in this underground car park. And we are using video to really set a very different tone for AP for these mid-market audiences. These are not people who perhaps spend a lot of time thinking about pay, so we have to catch them and engage them and tell a unified HCM story in a variety of different ways. The videos will and are localized, so you see the text that says, "Don't just pay your employees, know your people." That is the German version of this, a French version, an Italian, a Dutch version, and those are being delivered now to the local teams, so you will see these in your offices soon, and they will also be in local digital advertising. It creates and combines. WebEx doesn't do video very well, otherwise I would share it with you live, but it brings a very different tone to how we're communicating with this audience and trying to bring to life this finger on the pulse. Whether you interact with us through digital video, whether you see a site Eurostar terminal and think, okay, I should look into that, whether you're sent an email that's promoting the ADP messaging, it leads back to a web page in local language that essentially connects the work we've been doing over the last 3 years on the workforce view in Europe, which includes feedback from 10,000 employees each year for the last 3 years about them in work, it connects that back to this idea of bringing together pay and HR information, and then connects that to AP's work in the market, and then connects that to doing it on a unified platform, one platform. When they follow through the website, it eventually leads back to HCM2 or Decidium if they're in France. These wages are almost live. A couple of minor editorial changes being made on a couple of them, but these are live in time for the campaign to run. So there is a complete journey from seeing an outdoor poster to seeing a print or digital advert, to following through to the website, to exploring the product, to being pulled through into our recently redeveloped lead management process, and into the tele-prospect team, and into a sales qualified lead that goes into a gained access meeting. So over the last year, we've rebuilt that whole process, and they're ready to drive more volume through that as a way to grow the business. So a little bit of an overview about the campaign plan and tactics. We start this campaign with the internal communications, sharing this with the team, because the one I really don't want to have rings up as to an ADP person, hey, what's seeing breakdancers in videos? And the ADP person is not able to tell the story that we've just talked through. So the local teams that I mentioned at the beginning will be running opportunities for people to see more about this campaign. There will be information in the offices. You will receive the videos, and we will communicate with you through the project to keep you up to date as each set of new assets and materials are released. I have a music soundtrack. That's very different. We have an opportunity around the advertising, which runs between now to the end of the fiscal year. And the new phases of work come through. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what the census is, what the podcast is, and how we start to bring this to life at some of our live events. The Unboxed census is a project different from those that we've done before. Evolution of Work is a global view. Workforce View in Europe is a very deep study of 10,000 individuals. Census is a more fun and light-hearted way to access the mid-market and gives people the opportunity to take the pulse of their organization. So it's for the benchmark survey, which we're doing now. We're designing the survey, and it will be delivered as a report summer. Then it becomes a tool that the ADP team can use so that you will be able to talk to a customer, whether a customer or a prospect, and have their people complete the census and then sit down to talk to ADP about the results of their census and what that's telling them in terms of the opportunity to bring together pay and HR in a unified HCM solution, where they can drive differences in employee experience and employee engagement. So very visual, very colorful, very much in keeping with this early point about looking and feeling different and challenging the way that organizations currently think about this area. This is not a replacement to the Gallup survey or paid-for tools. It's a way of starting a conversation with prospects and customers that leads back to a conversation about our unique product set. And we expect that census drive areas of discussion. And so we are planning on recording and releasing a series of podcasts in each local language, which will explore the themes established in the census. And we'll bring our general managers to the fore as a voice for ADP and as a higher profile speaker supported by the work we're doing with PR. We're working on having these first recordings available for when people hit the beach over the summer. A scarcity or not, there's not good HR content on the podcast format, and And interestingly, when you look at who is using podcasts, how they engage with podcasts, it is a great platform to reach this mid-market audience and help them rethink their challenge of employee engagement and business growth and connect that to the way they manage their pay and HR. So I sent the email that this will run through the calendar year. So advertising is launching now. The census will go into development. Then we start the podcast. And then as we return from the summer season, we will restart the advertising with extension of the campaign idea. Census as a tool or as a service that you can take to your customers and communicate with your prospects is available. We will hope to start recording season 2 of the podcast. And all of the live event materials where we are addressing this audience will start to talk about how do we bring this to life. And the agencies and the team that I work with are having really interesting conversations at the moment about how you bring this idea of People Unboxed to life. And the first example of that will be a reworking of our Lunch and Learn format in the UK. On May the 1st, we are relaunching Lunch and Learn and aligning it to some of the messages for People Unboxed and emphasizing more of the learning content than the teaching content. And we'll share that with the relevant teams in the term. But I wanted to be really clear that this is not just about an advert in March. This is a new way for us to go and align to the needs of the mid-market, the 150 to 3,500 employee companies, can help them meet their needs around employee engagement and growth by getting back to very distinctive and differentiated ADP propositions. So as all these materials come together, in every market we will have advertising to raise awareness, interactive elements that people can use so they have a reason to visit our website, to engage with us, knowledge that they can take away and download, and then further reasons to interact with us, all of which helps us build this pipeline process and drive revenue into the organization. So the overall campaign activity, it goes back to putting the employee at the center of the HR technology decision. And we think about this territory of I am, who's the employee? From a perspective, I am a competitive edge, I am a finger on the pulse. If we can help businesses harness that through our technology and services, then we can really help them grow. And ultimately, that's what we need us to do. And so these ideas of being a competitive edge, a fresh perspective, we already know how this campaign will develop over the next 12 months. And so there'll be a consistent and developing drumbeat of marketing communications to support our customer engagement and sales and growth initiatives. And that is People Unboxed. It's a quick overview of everything that we are running through this year, targeting the mid-market buyer. Hopefully it presented with some interesting thoughts about how we are going to market. Maybe it raises some questions about how does this impact on the sales conversations we're having. And I'm working with Tracy Davis and the sales operations team. This is very closely aligned to the one conversation and our point of view. Directly connects to all the materials that the product marketing organization has rolled out for IHCM2, which talks about the broken back office, and the marketing team that is working on the materials and updating our proposition for Decidium. So it looks like we lost the slides. There was a second. And this is because we're actually on the last slide. So the joy of technology. Give me one moment and it will come back. At that point, because I'm coming to the last slide, If you have any questions, please do feel free to enter them on the chat box. We have a lot of people on the line. It's really pleasing to see so many people interested and supporting the marketing program and how this will help us grow across the business.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I've just found where the slide went. There is a slide which simply reminds the team that there is an opportunity to speak with your local teams in order to be able to ask follow-up questions and see in much more depth where the campaign is going. Now, because this is a preview, not all of the materials are available right away, and you will see everything rolling out in the coming weeks. But your local marketing representatives have ensured that we have local language translations, great resources across the team, and we will be delivering this campaign over the next 3, 6, 12, 18 months as we build it out. And my commitment to having seen the response to this call is we will first make this recording available on the local intranet, but secondly, we will look at ways to make sure this information is communicated inside the organization and made available to everyone in language. So unless there are any questions there, I will wrap up. I see 2 questions. When will YouTube videos be live, Chair? We have final edit of YouTube videos, and I expect these to be available for you to see next week. And we're working on getting them up onto the screens in the offices so that people who were not able to join this call will see them. And I would be really appreciative of everyone who's on this call. If you see videos and people ask you what they're about, please do take a moment to share with them or point them to this presentation on the intranet. Email, other assets, there is a whole package of materials that is in final stages of development, and again will be delivered to you over the next 2 weeks, so that when you send an email with a very obvious email signature, that will get back to your local landing page. And as we've talked about before, the local landing page brings the person right the way through the journey from understanding People Unboxed all the way back to IHCM2 or Decidium. I have been asked, how does this campaign link to campaigns outside of EMEA? There is a lot of consistency in the way that ADP is adopting the Challenger methodology, and this is a very specific campaign for the EMEA marketing, targeting UK, Netherlands, Germany, Italy, and France, because it leads back to products that we have strong differentiation and strong growth opportunities with the mid-market. The market teams have other strategies for our largest prospects and customers, so we have very focused growth initiatives on new accounts, and with focused growth initiatives on the smaller end of the market, particularly at the lower end of the market where one is looking only at a payroll solution rather than a unified HCM solution. And the development and rollout of IHCM2 continues to develop each market, so UK, Germany, Italy, and Netherlands. All are now live, but we have various modules and functionality going through local user acceptance testing. So there's local guidance on which particular parts of IHCM2 and its availability, but generally we are now in a position where we can go to market and sell the concept of unified HCM and lead back to IHCM2 in those 4 markets once we're already there with Decidium. One last question, how do we measure the success? There are really 3 key measurements that we're using in marketing around success. The first one is the business aspect to drive market awareness and visibility. So we track our digital traffic and we track our PR share of voice. This campaign will flow to those measures. We also track our lead flow into the business. You saw over this year, we have double. Sorry, somebody mute their line, please. We can hear you on another line. The last part is marketing's impact on revenue, and that we track holistically across all marketing activity and that drives new business opportunities into the business. And as I said, from the metrics we're tracking so far, we are dramatically increasing the impact on the business. I expect this campaign to accelerate that. Okay, we'll draw the meeting to a close there. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Apologies to the few of the technical issues. This has been the first time we tried to do this internally. It's been the first time I've used WebEx in a long time, and I really appreciate everyone's patience. And as I said before, Alexander, Haka, Verena, Paula, Maria Antoinetta, Marco, Chris, or myself, we're all able to answer questions. It's important to us that this campaign is aligned to the growth of the business and drives more revenue impact. It's been shared with David Foskett, Don McGuire, the ECOM, and each of the DVP leaders, and had a very positive response to them. Certainly, we recognize a great opportunity in that mid-market, and so I look forward to working with the wider business for us to continue to grow our revenue in the mid-market using this People Unboxed campaign. So thank you very much, everybody, and I will draw the close there and look forward to reconnecting with the next update in due course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.